All right, so let me go ahead and get into this message. Now, this one is one of those messages I was speaking on about. I had to make this members only because a lot of people are not ready for the truth of our reality, okay? These messages, acceptance of these messages, the willingness to even hear these messages in particular, it requires a level of spiritual maturity, open-mindedness, and willingness to see or understand or learn other perspectives, okay? Because personally, I have never thought of this way, okay? And I have never been the type of person to think of things in classifications and as such as this, okay? So the fact that Spirit gave this to me in this way is definitely new for me, okay? So again, it takes a certain level of spiritual maturity, open-mindedness, and a willingness to hear other perspectives, even on my part. Because when I first got these messages, I was like, I don't know about this one, Spirit. This sounds kind of... but as things started to progress, and the more and more information Spirit told me, I was like, okay, so without further ado, let's get into these messages, these downloads that I have been given to share with those who are in the correct energy to hear them, all right? So on April 14th, 2026 is when I got this particular download, okay? So for context, I'm recording this on April 20th, 2026, but I am not sure when exactly you're going to see this, but my readings are timeless. Everything I do is timeless. I am timeless. So it doesn't really matter when you see it, okay? So the download I heard, there goes my nose. Ha! If you know me, you must know me if you've become a member. You must have been around long enough to know that when my nose runs, it means a lot of info is coming out. It's the energy, okay? So this particular download I got at 12:47 p.m. and I heard Joan Osborne's song, One of Us. So that's the song, What If God Were One of Us? Just a slop like one of us. That's the song I heard, but I only heard What If God Were One of Us? Okay, that was a download. Woo, chills. I got chills going up and down my arms. Okay, so God is one of us, though. So her song was not wrong. What if God was one of us, just a slob like one of us, just a stranger on the bus trying to make his way home? Well, yes, God is one of us because each of us is God, okay? So now, another song download that I received right after that was I Need You to Survive by Hezekiah Walker. That's a gospel song. And this, if you've heard it, you'll recognize it is I love you. You love me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. Okay? So, we are all a part of God's body. Now, God is one of us. God is all of us. Now, in context, to put this into context for you, we're all a part of God's body. So, we are to God's body what our cells are to our body. Okay? So all of us, each one of us, make up a cell in God's body that makes up the body of God. Are you tracking? You following me? Okay. So some of us are the cells that make the physical body, like, okay, the arms, the legs, the fingers, the toes, the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the nose, bars. Okay. But then others of us are the cells that make God's blood. The blood cells, okay? Now, follow me. The blood cells and the blood, okay? Because that is indeed and in fact part of God's body, is it not? In fact, it is, because blood cells and are part of our body, and we are literally made in God's image, okay? As above, so below. So those of us that are part of God's blood cells, are part of God's bloodline, okay? Those of us that make up God's blood and blood cells are the bloodline of God, okay? Now, what do I mean by bloodline? The bloodline of God is literal, as far as like relation, descendants, is literal and metaphysical. So anyone can be part of God's bloodline, but also there are specific people that are the literal bloodline descendants as well. Okay, let me explain further. So, where is it? I wrote something down. Is it in this book? Okay, anyway. So, yes, literal and metaphysical. So, those that are not of the literal bloodline of God, those that are not literally have the descendant relative blood of God flowing through their veins, are metaphysically able to be part of God's bloodline, but they have to be grafted in. So, in the Bible, if you have paid any attention, you know I do not physically read it. It is channeled to me. So in the Bible, it speaks about grafting. And it's talking about how the Israelites are the bloodline descendants of God, and anyone else that is not of Israeli descent has to be grafted in because they are a Gentile. So they have to be grafted into the bloodline of God to be a bloodline descendant of God. Okay, so this is where this message is going to get a little, you said what? So listen, everything in this reality is flipped, reversed, inverted, turned upside down, backwards, okay? So, the Israelites, the Jewish people, are not the literal bloodline of God as the Bible has taught, okay? The true bloodline descendants of God are actually the ancient Egyptians, the Africans, people of color, Hispanics, etc., so on and so forth. Those people of color, are the actual literal bloodline descendants of God. Okay? Bear with me. As I stated, I have never looked at this way. I've never thought of this way because I have never been the type of person to look at things as far as groups, separate, anything like that. Okay? So this was new for me too, guys. Okay? This is new for me too. Okay? So, the true bloodline descendants of God are the bloodline descendants of Ra, God, the sun, Ra. Okay? So, the sun people, that's why they're people of color. That's why they have melanin. They're people of the sun. God, the sun, Ra, people of the sun. Okay? So, they are the descendants of ancient Egyptians, the true gods and goddesses. Everyone else outside of the bloodline of God, everyone else outside of the literal ancient Egyptian, ancient Aztec, ancient Mayan, and Atlantean bloodlines, everyone outside of that is a Gentile and has to be grafted in. Okay? Now, that's why I said anyone can be the metaphysical bloodline of God. It's about virtue. It's about your consciousness. It technically is not even about color. But those that are of color, ancient Egyptian or Egyptian descent, Mayan descent, Aztec descent, Atlantean descent, those people are the literal blood cells that make up God's body. That's why they're the literal bloodline. Okay? So, again, everyone else outside of people of color has to be grafted into the bloodline of God by virtue. So, they can only be added to the metaphysical bloodline of God by how they treat the bloodline descendants. So basically, how they treat people of color. Okay? So, fun fact, racists are automatically cut off from the blessings that are given to the bloodline of God by literal bloodline or by metaphysical bloodline. Period. Because the test is how you treat the bloodline descendants, because they look different. It's how you treat them by virtue, by your consciousness. So racists automatically have a fucked up consciousness. Racists automatically have a fucked up energy and a fucked up consciousness. So there's no way for them to be grafted in, because the thing that would help them be grafted in, how they treat people of color, it's blocking. It's they have no virtue. They have no consciousness to have love and care for anyone outside of what they look like or what they feel other people should look like or be. So why would they be grafted in? Why would they receive the blessings of the bloodline, literal or metaphysical, if they can't even honor other people, love other people? It's not possible. Okay? So, again, anyone can be grafted into the bloodline of God, of Ra, by their virtue and consciousness, by which they share the spiritual blessings, promises, and the covenant as those that are the literal bloodline. So, basically, if you have love in your heart and you are unconditionally loving to everyone, you don't have racism. So you have no problem with people of color, people of no color. You have no problem with anyone. You treat everyone equally. You treat everyone with love, everyone with respect, okay? That's your virtue. That's your consciousness. So by that alone, you are automatically given a spot in the family tree and in the bloodline of God by your virtue, okay? So, what grafting is in the Bible is talking about how grafting is the process of inserting a branch from one tree, one family tree, into another tree so that the piece inserted becomes part of that new tree. So, again, if you are not a person of color, you can be taken, your branch can be taken from that tree, your family tree, and grafted into the tree of life, the tree of God's bloodline descendants. You can be grafted in by how you treat people of color, other people outside of what you look like, okay? So, the Jewish people, back to that, how the Bible speaks about the Jewish people, the Israelites being the descendants, the bloodline descendants. Okay, well, like I told you, everything in this consciousness, everything in this reality is flipped, reversed, inverted, turned upside down. Okay, I just heard upside down. Boy, you turned me inside out. Yeah, everything in this reality is flipped. So the truth of the matter is, this is going to cause a lot of controversy. And I debated with Spirit so long about these messages, but it is what it is. I am here to do what I am here to do. So the Jewish people are the Nephilim. The Nephilim, however you want to pronounce it. The Jewish people are the Nephilim, okay? So, what are the Nephilim? There were fallen angels, okay? The fallen angels were considered the sons of God. But the sons of what God? The sons of what God? Basically, the fallen angels were the angels that followed Lucifer out of heaven. And 1414 on the timer, confirmation. And if you saw my video about artificial intelligence, Lucifer is AI. Lucifer is artificial intelligence, a false god, the world, the physical, material world, okay? So, the fallen angels that followed Lucifer out of heaven, that followed Lucifer to that separate consciousness that Lucifer created, okay? They are the sons of God, but I said, what God? They are sons of the world, sons of the physical world, sons of this earth plane reality, because the fallen angels followed Lucifer to this realm to make this earth plane. That's why the number 6 is the devil's number. It's the physical world. It's the earth plane. So the sons of God, the fallen angels, followed Lucifer to this realm, to the physical realm. So the sons of God in that context are talking about the sons of the world. The fallen angels are the sons of the physical world, the sons of the earth realm. They are not the sons of the divine God. They are not sons of God Ra. They are sons of this world. Okay? So, the Nephilim are the fallen angels' offspring, the children of iniquity. So, the Jewish people, not all of them, of course, no, not all of them, because they can also be grafted in to the metaphysical bloodline of God by their virtue, by their consciousness. They are also able to do so. So it's not all of them, of course. It's never all of any group, okay? But there are those bad ones, the ones that kind of control the music industry and sports and entertainment and the world, the dark agenda, Freemasons. I can keep going, okay? So, these are the children of iniquity. Those fallen angels, those negative Jewish people, okay, are the Nephilim. They are the fallen angels' offspring, the children of iniquity, the children of the world. That's why they love money. That's why they are greedy. That's why they seek control, so on and so forth, okay? Now, in Genesis chapter 4 is the story of Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel were brothers. If you do not know the story of Cain and Abel were brothers, okay? And Cain killed Abel out of jealousy because Abel's sacrifice was accepted by God and Cain's was not. So let me go ahead and touch on this. So Genesis chapter 4 is the story of Cain and Abel. And the story of Cain and Abel is a story of the Jewish people and the ancient Egyptians. Not just the ancient Egyptians, but also the Aztecs, the Mayans, so on and so forth. But that's, yeah, okay? So, Cain being the Jews and Abel being the ancient Egyptians / people of color, blacks, okay? So, jealousy drove Cain to sin against his own brother, like I just told you. And the sin was to murder his own brother, okay? So, Cain was a farmer. Cain killed his brother, Abel, who was a shepherd. That's significant. Because God rejected Cain's sacrifice and accepted Abel's sacrifice. So, that story is about how the Jewish people literally destiny swapped with the ancient Egyptians, okay? They basically tried to murder, kill, get rid of, cut off at the root the ancient Egyptian people to keep them from receiving the blessings and covenant of Ra, okay? It was an attempt to stop them from receiving their destiny. It was a destiny swap, okay? That's why the Jewish people claim that they are the bloodline descendants. That's why they wrote the Bible. That's why everything is the way it is in this reality. It was a destiny swap, okay? That's why they are in control of a lot of people of color dominated spaces, sports, music, all the creative things. They have a hand in all that shit. They control it, okay? That's why it was a destiny swap, okay? The story of Cain and Abel was a destiny swap. So, the Jewish people had a choice to either face their own judgment for their sacrifice not being accepted and just deal with it and come better with another better sacrifice next time, or pass it off, destiny swap, to another group as a patsy. And that other group that they swapped and passed this judgment onto was the ancient Egyptians, which in essence is the blacks, which in essence is basically all people of color, okay? Because the same thing happened to the Mayans, the same thing happened to the Aztecs, and the same thing happened to the Atlanteans. And truth be told, all of these groups, the ancient Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs, and the Atlanteans, all reverenced and gave the sun venerance. They all looked at God, the sun. They all looked at the sun as God, okay? Now, if you don't believe me, in Egypt, in ancient Egypt, Atum Ra, God, Okay? The sun. In Aztec culture, it was Tonatiuh, the sun, God. In Mayan culture, it was Kinnick Ahau. I think I'm saying that right, okay? God, the sun. And even the Atlanteans worshipped the sun, okay? Guys, I declare and decree that this makes sense to you. I declare and decree that I have given you enough information to make sense of this. Like I said, this is what was given to me. And this is not all that was given to me. This is just the beginning of what was given to me. There is more. There is more. There is more. I'm just not going to record them all right this second, because if I recorded them all right now, we wouldn't have enough content, okay? But there's more. There's so much more. And every day that goes by, Spirit keeps giving me more and more to this story. And I'm like, every time I get more, I'm sitting there like, holy shit. Holy shit. So if this video was resonating with you, if this video is making sense to you, buckle up, buckaroo, because there's going to be more. There's more to this story. There's more to this story. There's so much more to this story. So I'll be back in a few days with another message, because as I get them, I have to decipher them, break them down, make them understandable and digestible for you. So bear with me. It's a lot. It's a fucking lot. Even for me, this information that I'm receiving is a lot. But guys, I'm going to close this first message here. It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot. Thank you very fucking much for being open-minded, mature, and willing to at least listen to these messages. But I love you. I love you. I will see you in the next message. All right? Toodles.